Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
I think, for the first time since the NXT days, back in the studio with me. I mean, we've had conversations since the NXT days, but they haven't been recorded.
Yeah.
Big Cass is here. Big Cass, normally I would say, what's the haps, but how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited watching you and what's happening with you right now. It seems like there's this push, for lack of a better word, to make Cass the next big kind of giant monster guy. And I think that's a pretty cool place to be in.
I think it is a pretty cool place to be in, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure, but I think I thrive well under pressure.
Yeah, is there what is the pressure in taking on that role? Is it because you're looking at guys, because that traditionally, especially in WWE, has been a spot for the big villain, sometimes the big hero, whatever it is, it's a premium main event spot, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the goal. That's where I'm looking to be, is in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of working my way up now, but a lot of pressure because, for 5 years I was, with somebody else, and we kind of split the talking, if you could even say that. It was kind of like an 80-20 split. And
right.
Now I'm out there on my own, and they're giving me 10-minute promo segs every week, and it's a lot of pressure after being, with someone else for 5 years, but I've always been confident in my abilities and my talking ability. I'm just letting the world see it now.
So what's the thought when you find out you're going to be doing these monologues? Like, is it scary or is it good? This is something I was waiting for, and it wasn't going to happen with Enzo because that's his whole thing, right?
Good pressure.
Yeah.
Great pressure. Like, when I was with Enzo, a lot of people would say, oh, man, he can't talk, or whatever they'd say, because Enzo's the mouthpiece. That may have appeared to be the case, but I've always been confident in my talking ability, and I'll tell you what, Dusty Rhodes, the late, great Dusty Rhodes, he always would, tell me how good my promos were, and he always enjoyed my promos. And if there was ever any question of my abilities with The Office or whatever, Dusty Rhodes always went to bat for me because of my talking ability. So I've always been confident in it. I know that I'm good at it. It's just finally getting a chance to show the world that, and it's good pressure having those monologues, as you so eloquently called them.
Yeah, I think that's what they are.
Yeah.
Have you liked them? Like, have you been happy with your performances so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
The promo the night I turned on Enzo, I was very happy with. The promo the night after Great Balls of Fire, I was very happy with. And the promo Monday, I was very happy with. The fans tried to get to me, but, that's good. So
right.
I was very happy with that promo also. So
I guess it's good for them to try to throw things at you in the beginning of this journey, right? So, I'm dealing with this now because it's going to keep happening.
Yeah, and I keep evolving. I keep getting better and more comfortable, which is, I'm sure that's the goal in the company's mind, is to, put me out there and get me experience, because I definitely am getting more comfortable out there.
Yeah, it seems sometimes like when they get guys that they're like, we see potential in this person, we're going to just throw him in the deep end and see if he sinks or swims. Is that kind of the mentality that you feel?
I don't know. I can't put myself inside of their head or their meetings. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but I tell you what, it's not a bad thing being put in that spot. So,
right.
It's definitely a good thing.
Especially if you can swim.
Yeah.
If you got ankle weights on, it's not the greatest spot, but if you can swim, it's not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
So it felt like after Enzo's injury, right, his concussion, when he was out for a month or
payback last year. Yeah.
That they started using you as singles, and it was almost like this first sort of, I don't know if it was a test, I don't know what it was, but it was this first notion of, hey, everybody, look at Cass over here. He's big, he's mean, he's tough, he's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, because a lot of times, for instance, like the Revival, one of them gets injured, and they're like, okay, we'll put the team over on the shelf for a minute until they're back together, and then we'll put them right back where they were.
Yeah.
When you started getting used for that month or so as a singles guy, and in a really great spot as a singles guy, I think, in your head, are you going, okay, I think this might be what they have envisioned for me?
I always thought that one day I was going to be a solo performer, and I always truly believe that I'll be a top guy in this company. I'm not quite there yet, but I do believe I'm going to be top guy, if not the guy. That's always what I've believed deep down. That's what I've thought. And when it happened, I knew it was a good thing. I don't know what they were thinking or what was being talked about in meetings, but I knew it was a good thing. And the night after Payback, I'm driving to with Kevin Owens from Chicago to St. Louis, and I'm wondering, man, now I'm going to be off TV and then we get there the next day, and they're like, no, you're on. It's you and the New Day, and it was a 8-man tag match, and I was getting a promo, and I'm pretty sure I realized then it was kind of a test to see. It was a little barometer to see how is he going to do on his own. And I had a promo, and I thought I killed the promo. I thought match did well, and when I came back, everybody seemed happy. And from that night on, it was kind of, while Enzo was gone, it was, okay, let's start using him as singles while Enzo's on the shelf.
And that's one of those moments, too, where it's like, not everybody gets those opportunities.
No.
And it's those things where, like, if you blow that opportunity in that moment, it may never come again. Like this, That's what a test is, right?
In the moment, you don't realize how big it was. But yeah, if I would have messed that up, I'm sure that we'd be having different conversations right now.
Right.
So it's like so crazy. One night, one point in time, here's your opportunity. If we give you this and you do well, then we'll start giving you some more. And then after SummerSlam last year, they had a vacant Universal title. Okay, let's put Cass in a fatal 4-way match and see how he does in that. And
I mean, that's amazing that you were in that conversation at all, right? That kind of was like from here to 100.
it was great.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Me.
Yeah, it's the best.
And again, I think it was just kind of getting my feet wet. That's what they were doing, getting my feet wet and seeing. It was kind of just giving me things here and there to see how I would do.
So who do you look at as guys that you look up to, as styles that you look up to, and things like that? Because as a big guy, you know, you can't really look at everybody says Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair or this guy or that guy, and it's like you wouldn't wrestle like them because you're huge.
I think in-ring wise, Undertaker and Kevin Nash would be the two biggest ones that I watch. I mean, I watch a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of people. I try to take everything, little things from everybody. But if I say that there was two that my style was based around, it's those two guys. And in terms of backstage or people I look up to, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this because it's the week of SummerSlam, but the Big Show's definitely a guy that I look up to.
Just in terms of how he operates,
how he carries himself. He's always got really good advice. It's just he's the man. He's great.
It's amazing too because you hear stories about the Big Show when he was young and they're not the best and you know being sent down here and this and that. But when you can find guys that have kind of lived through it,
been through it all,
and can come back and are now in the right place of mind and you can learn from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty extraordinary. I never understand people who don't learn from others' mistakes, right? Like they go, well, that's not going to happen to me. I can do all that he did, and I'm different. And you go, no, you're doing the same thing, man.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last week, that very moment, and just kind of how Terry Taylor would phrase it, from the penthouse to the outhouse, and then straight from the outhouse back to the penthouse. So it's learning from other people's you have to learn from other people's experiences.
Right.
You'd be stupid not to.
Right. And it's really, you know, I ask people all the time about influences, and not that many people get into like, well, in terms of like working it in the ring, this guy, but backstage, that guy. Like I guess I don't hear that much, but that's equally as important of a part, right? Especially in this era of sports entertainment or wrestling or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The backstage attitude is as important as it's ever been because there's fewer and fewer places to work.
Yeah, and Hunter's another guy that's just always open to talk to and always gives great advice on pretty anything he says. I kind of take as gospel.
Yeah.
If he says it, it's like, okay, that's got to be that's the right way to do it. Like, it has to be, you know?
Right. I mean, you look at a guy who's been successful.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's successful in terms of putting on amazing matches, successful in terms of surviving in the business, just all around.
Yeah. So he's a guy that definitely, when he says something, it has to be true to me. I'm like, yep, that's right.
Right.
So I just do it that way, you know?
Right.
And Undertaker's another guy. When he's around, I try to talk to him as much as possible.
Yeah. Is that a tough thing to do? Because I would imagine a lot of young guys want to talk to The Undertaker about.
Yeah, but a lot of people are kind of intimidated by him. You know, he's The Undertaker.
Yeah.
He's, you know, quote unquote, he's like the godfather of the locker room. So,
sure.
I feel like I have a good rapport with him, and I try to talk to him as much as possible when he's around. I try to pick his brain and just listen to what he thinks about what I'm doing, what other people are doing, because he's The Undertaker.
Does he have a soft spot for other big guys?
I have no idea. I don't know. He talks to me.
Right.
There's
Right.
certain people maybe he doesn't talk to, so I can't say, but I know I have the pleasure of speaking with him.
That's one of those things where it's like I don't assume anything as long as he keeps talking to me.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to keep things copacetic and exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
So it became part of the storyline of you turning on Enzo, but it's also, I mean, first it was brought up on the internet. It's been brought up on Bring It to the Table on the network. Like it's in the zeitgeist. This concept of Enzo making people upset, not in real life, right?
Yeah, in real life, is what you're saying.
In real life, what is the legend versus the truth to that?
Enzo is Enzo. Like, the guy you see on TV is the guy you see in real life. It's just Enzo is Enzo. And
Right.
I've said this before, Enzo wouldn't be in the spot he's in. He would have never made it this far if he didn't act the way he does. So, like, there's good with bad. But a guy like that, that's how he got that far, is just being Enzo. So
this way of, like, grabbing attention for himself, sometimes that's very, very good because it boosts you out of a crowd, and sometimes people get annoyed by it.
I don't know if I'd say it's like, give me attention. I'd just say it's kind of a go out and take it mentality.
Gotcha.
That's Enzo. That's how he got this far. I mean,
Yeah.
The odds were stacked against that guy many times.
Yes.
He got this far because that's who he is.
When you realize that he's rubbing people the wrong way, is that one of those scenarios where you're like, is the distancing yourself in the storyline a true thing, or is it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think I've distanced myself from him. The storyline is kind of taken on its own thing. Like, once it started being talked about, and then people started talking about it on the internet.
Right.
Then they're like, oh, really? People talk about it? Well, okay. Even if it's not real, let's pretend it is, and let's put it even more out there on TV.
Right.
You guys on that show, Corey Graves and JBL, okay, talk about it there, and then you say something in your promo. People buying in.
I feel like it's one of those things, because it's a fun story to talk about, right? Everybody loves gossip, and everybody loves like somebody being they don't like this guy, and none of us know. Nobody's back there. Nobody knows any of it.
Nobody knows any, and half the stuff you read on the internet isn't true.
But that's a fun one to just go with. And like I read stories, and I'm like it's clear to me that somebody is just like taking some poetic license and being like, yeah, and they also don't like him because this and that and this, and I'm like, well, how would anybody? How would anybody even be aware of this?
Sometimes I read those and I'm like, what? Where did this person even get this information from?
Yeah, it's like totally foreign.
So yes.
Well, that happens in radio too. Like, I'll read things that are going on behind the scenes at Sirius or on my radio show, and I'll be like, that.
Yeah.
It's like somebody just made this up out of nowhere.
It
happens
everywhere.
It's crazy behavior.
It happens everywhere. Even they talked recently about this weekend. I think LeBron and Kyrie had a sit down together.
Right.
And then someone says that's not true. That never happened. So if it happened, then why is this person saying it didn't? And if it didn't happen, where did they get that information? Like, it just happens. It happens everywhere.
It's almost like one of those things. I feel like they'll take that, right? Like, somebody will have this idea that, I'll bet they had a sit down somewhere. And then another person will just really like the idea and go, they had a sit down somewhere.
Where was it? Restaurant XYZ.
Right.
Write it down. Boom,
right.
It happened.
And then because everybody has a blog, everybody gets to be a reporter now, right?
Oh,
This idea of journalists. Like, people are like, Sam, how can I be a wrestling journalist? And I go, I don't know what a wrestling journalist is. I'm not a wrestling journalist. I just talk to guys sometimes. But because everybody has a blog.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to be a journalist, so everybody gets to be a reporter. So now this thing that you just kind of were talking about with your buddies outside of school or whatever is a news story.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real life.
Yeah.
And I do like, and I think it's helped out with what you're doing, that WWE saw this and like acknowledged that the internet's going crazy with this.
Yeah.
So let's make this Cass's motivation. And now there's this investment because everybody wants it to be real life so much that they're like, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and if there is some truth to it, then it's definitely lights a fire in promos or whatnot. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's and all you need is a kernel, right? A kernel of truth. To turn a promo into something that is
that
is real.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you was it when you guys left NXT? Was it sort of like, oh, I don't know if we want to leave, or was it frustrating because you guys were there for a long time?
Yeah, we wanted to be out of there.
Yeah.
We loved NXT. We
of
loved
course.
building the brand with everybody, and we really, really loved the both locker rooms, the females and the males, and we all felt like we all built something together from top to bottom, from Hunter, to Matt Bloom, to Regal, to all the talent. Like, we felt like as a group, as a whole, we really built something big, and like we were really proud of it. But eventually, the goal has always been Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. You want to be there, so we were very happy to get called up. It was a lifelong accomplishment.
Why do you suppose you never won the tag titles at NXT specifically? Because that was like, you guys were, especially at the end, it was almost like you guys were beyond the tag titles because you'd been there for so long. You were so beloved. It was like, I know these are the champions, but that's the team.
I'll say that. I think it helped us that we never won.
Right.
I think sometimes fans want to make their voice heard, and they basically want to say, no, we're going to tell you behind the curtain what to do with whoever. Well, you're going to go by what we say. So I felt like they felt like we were their guys, and whoever was pulling the strings behind the curtain,
this evil puppet master
wasn't parallel with what they were thinking.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, we're going to cheer even louder for these guys, and then you'll do it. And then there was the one the takeover London against Dash and Dawson. People for sure thought it was the night.
Right.
For sure. They would have bet money on it. And
that was that's the one where they started singing
and
the
then,
Enzo song and stuff,
and then
right?
we hit the rocket launcher, and then people thought it was legit over, and then the pullout, and then when we lost the match, you see people in the audience hands like they were literally like heartbroken and so frustrated.
Right.
But I think that helped us because I think that made people think like, come on, these are our guys. Don't you hear us back there? Make them champions.
It allows you to stay an underdog.
Yes.
Right? Even though like you're not really anymore, like you're the guys, but you're not the guys.
Because we can't win that elusive tag title.
And if you got a bad guy tag team, they're the champions. Oh, is that going to get them hated?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like that's going to keep them
it was great.
Bad guys. Like, this was supposed to be their night and you ruined it for us, the fans. Like you ruined it.
Yes, and that's how they felt then and at Roadblock in Toronto. That program we had with Dash and Dawson was amazing. It's one that I'll never forget. I really loved it.
And I mean, I think that's a great point that you made because the Revival is like this tag team that should be protected as bad guys because they're such great bad guys that you run that risk of people starting to like them.
They're cool.
Right.
And I want to be different, so I'm going to cheer for the guy that's bad.
Right.
Everyone was like, so many people out there, they want to be different.
Yeah.
They want to be like, no, I cheered for him before anybody else did,
Right.
So he's my guy. Like, and he's cool. He can cut a good promo, so I like him. And then they start cheering for. I think it's really hard nowadays to get heat in wrestling. It's really, really hard to get heat.
Well, that's why I think that your split is good for you.
Yes.
Because like I think it'd be really difficult for you to get heat. But Enzo is so, regardless of rumors, like watch any show. He is so beloved.
Yeah.
And there's still, certified G merchandise everywhere you look and he's getting cheered everywhere. And he's so much smaller than you. The fact that he's the guy that you kick the crap out of is like, yes, this is what we're looking for because now how do you not boo Big Cass?
Yeah. And my goal is to parlay that into when we go our separate ways in WWE, story-wise, to parlay all that heat and bring it with me and try to add on to it.
Do you like, because this is your first time as a real bad guy.
Yeah.
Do you like being a bad guy?
Yes.
Do you like it better than, or is it just because you were a good guy for so long, it's fun to be different?
Yeah, it's different. I can't say if it's better. It's different.
Yeah.
But I love it.
But it's got to be nice on some level as a bad guy to be able to yell at fans, right? Like when they're booing you or whatever, you can just you can unleash on them.
Everything you wanted to do when you were a good guy,
right?
Now you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's funner to be a bad guy.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when I guess it's different too.
Yeah.
When there's a change that happens, that's the point.
Yeah.
So are there, aside from SummerSlam, are there goals that you have in mind of what you want to do or who you want to do it with?
Universal Championship.
That's it, right there.
I want to win it. I want to main event WrestleMania. And those are two of my main goals is to win the Universal Championship and to main event WrestleMania.
And are you the type of guy who looks at a goal and is like, if that takes me 10 years, that's fine? Or I'm getting hungry, I'm getting frustrated, I want to main event WrestleMania like either this year or next year?
I want a main event either this year or next year.
Right.
100%.
Right.
10 years, I hope it doesn't take 10 years, but maybe it will. That's WWE, but I want it to happen as soon as possible. I'm hungry, constantly hungry, constantly want to get better, constantly want to be in a bigger spot.
At what point did you know this was for you? Like, at what point did you know you were going to be a wrestler?
When I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
was
told
the dream
myself
from the
in college
beginning.
I was going to be a doctor, but man, I
Because
wasn't going to do that.
Because you go to school to be a doctor.
The whole time I knew I wanted to. I was constantly, when I'm supposed to be studying, sometimes I'm watching wrestling or watching YouTube videos of wrestling. Like, this is all I ever wanted to do.
It's just so funny because you don't normally hear like those stories. Like, you hear guys that went to college and like, I knew I was going to be a wrestler, but they're like undeclared or they're doing this. They're not like at a prestigious school to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But that's just where you were at.
That's where I was at. I was going to be a doctor, but
Well, how were you? So you're sitting there not concentrating on your medical school or whatever, but watching wrestling YouTubes.
Yeah.
How were your grades?
Grades were good.
So you're just a naturally smart dude. You're just good at school.
No, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't say natural. It's just like if I'm in something, I'm in it. Like if I'm going to watch wrestling videos, I'm going to stay up extra late to study. Like I make sure I do the best I can, no matter what it is.
Right. So like if you're slouching off now, you're not just going to watch wrestling videos and go to bed. Like at some
I'm
point,
going to get 2 hours of sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I need to get pages 100 through 200 read.
Right.
So that'll get done at some point in time.
So that's I mean, and I think that's that discipline that probably helps you.
Yeah.
Throughout.
Yeah. And all walks of life.
Was your you had to have been the biggest dude in medical school. Like you would have been a gigantic doctor.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you worried when you got to WWE that they were going to make you a doctor? Because that was like that's the old school mentality, right? They're like, well, you went to medical school, huh? Well, how about this? How about Dr. Cass?
I was never worried about that. I think that would be. I don't know. I don't know how that would work out.
I don't know.
Dr. Cass.
Dr. Cass, yeah.
With my stethoscope. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's time for your examination.
Yeah, and I'd knock people out, and then I'd take their heartbeats.
That'd be great.
Pulse.
Yeah, yeah. You put the thing in, and you put the ear things in, and you take their heartbeat, and then you just shake your head.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing.
And then I feel up their pulse, and I go, he's good. I finished them all.
Yeah.
He's done.
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was your family surprised that you got into this, or did they know, even though
I think they knew.
they were hoping probably, right? When you get to college, that they're like, okay, I think we got him away from this wrestling stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly how it went down.
Right. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
No,
that's
you
what I'm
didn't.
doing.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Was it tough? Everybody talks about relationships and getting separated by brand. Is it tough to be in a relationship with a female superstar that's on the SmackDown side of things?
We see each other 1.5 days a week.
Right.
I think we're the only couple on TV that isn't on the same brand. If I'm correct, I'm almost 100% sure that that's the case.
Right. Well, Renee's on Raw and SmackDown now, so that's
So we're the only. It's tough. We see each other 1.5 days a week.
When you see each other 1.5 days, yeah, that's right. Because the schedule is like you have an off day that Carmella doesn't have, and she has an off day that you don't have. So it's that center.
Right.
And do you talk about anything but wrestling in that 1.5 days?
We talk about everything but wrestling.
Right.
We try not to talk about wrestling.
Right.
It's just too much.
Because because it takes over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we try to stay as far away from it as possible.
Well, Cass, I'm super excited about everything that's going on with you. That's probably been the funnest. A couple years ago when Katie and I were doing that string of NXT interviews.
Yeah, in Philly.
Yeah. To why it was you and Enzo and Kevin Owens and Sasha and Balor, and it's like to watch the entire generation. Not only people talk about like, oh, I don't know, these guys go from NXT and then nothing happens with them on the main roster. But if you honestly look at the main roster, and you look at the main event scene that is obviously coming up, like this next generation of main event scene, it's that whole NXT generation.
Yes, it is.
And it's really cool to see. And it's got to be...
It's cool for me,
yeah. It's got to be cool for you to look around and be like, we all did it. All of us are here.
Yeah, because we're all, no matter what rivalries you have or whatever, you're all proud of each other because we all came up together pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially like those guys in FCW, like Jason Jordan. Now he's on Raw and he's doing some big things. Like I was with him at FCW, like going that far back and both having been in NXT, like you're proud of each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look at a team like that who you guys had your wars with, but Jason Jordan's over here, obviously in this prime spot on Raw, and Chad Gable is getting to have these singles matches on SmackDown that everybody's being like, oh my God, look at this guy.
Yeah.
So it's It's cool to watch guys succeed, and you're certainly succeeding.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime.
Always good.